Okay, so chapters 18 to 25 are all part of one unit. It's a hard unit. And just to backtrack to see how this parak fits in, basically, the whole of Tanya is here to teach us, which means that having a relationship with Hashem is something that's very accessible to every single person. Okay, so how is Torah mitzvah accessible to every single person? When we have love for Hashem, when we love Hashem, then Torah mitzvah is very accessible, because if we love someone, you want to do what you want to fulfill their will. So there's two ways of ways of achieving love. One, Shprinzela, make Shprinza. Okay, take off your coat and make it a little bit lower. Okay, thank you. Okay. So one way is to contemplate on the greatness of Hashem and to create love. And the second way, how Torah is very close to us, is I don't have to contemplate, I just have to reveal the hidden love that I already have. So we said the hidden love that we already have is what triggers it, what wakes it up. When there is in a state of emergency, when a person is faced with a choice of am I going to chas v'shalom deny the existence of Hashem, or am I going to affirm the existence of Hashem? So at that point, when a Jew realizes I don't want to be separate from Hashem, then they're even ready to give up their life. And how does that happen? Because the hidden love wakes up whenever there's an issue that relates to the existence of Hashem. So we took one chapter to explain what does it mean. So that Hashem is one God. Took another chapter to explain what it means that you shouldn't have any other gods. We realized that we spoke about the unity of God, that nothing is separate from Hashem, and that that not to have any other gods doesn't just mean not to bow down to idols. We understood that anything that's separate from Hashem is already in the category of don't have any other gods, anything that feels separate from Hashem. So we delved into it, and now we're going to try to bring it. We're going to try to bring everything back together, and what we're going to understand today, and we said it, but now we're going to understand it, is that Anochi Hashem Alekecha and Lo Yelecha Elokim Acherim, the belief in one God and not to deny Hashem, those two of the Aseret Dibros, it's not just a foundation for Torah mitzvahs. I need to believe in Hashem in order to fulfill His mitzvahs, but rather Anochi and Lo Yelecha are the hello, hi Rachel. Happy birthday, Rachel. Thank you. Say Mashmal Isaac, that's how I know. So Master Shavashnas Hatzlacha. Amen. Brachas to you. Okay, so when we realize that every single mitzvah is part of Anochi Hashem Alekecha, all the positive commandments, it's part of this Anochi Hashem Alekecha. It's included in it. So any time I do a mitzvah, it's basically the same situation as being put to the ultimate test. Every single mitzvah is the positive mitzvah that I do. I am attesting, and I'm saying, and I'm showing, and I'm proving that there's nothing other than Hashem. So when I can make the link, when I can make the connection between Negovasser and keeping Shabbos, Tanech Hashem Alekecha, then I could always access the hidden love. The hidden love is going to be woken up for anything that has to do with the unity or the denial of Hashem. So as soon as I realize that every single one of the mitzvahs, whether it be positive or negative, is connected to this concept of the unity of Hashem, then at any time I could access it. So the question is, how is every single mitzvah truly How is every single mitzvah truly a part of the existence of Hashem? And that's what we're going to learn today. And okay, so basically, we discussed at length this concept of Pnimius Haratzain, which means God's innermost will. We said there's Pnimius Haratzain, your innermost will. Chitzonius Haratzain is a means to an end, something that you want for, not for that purpose. I go to work, not because I really want to get out of bed and go to work, but I go to work, I want to go to work because I want to get a paycheck. So that's called Chitzonius Haratzain. I want to do something as a means to an end. And then there's something called um, Achirayim Diratzin, which is something like from behind my back, something that's even more removed. I do it for some reason, but it's not really something that I want to do. I have to do it, but it's not something that I really want to do. And the same is with Hashem. We discuss this at length. And so basically what we're learning today is an incredible concept, and that is that Torah and mitzvahs is the pnimius ratzon of Hashem. Hashem's innermost will is that we should learn Torah and do a mitzvah. So much so that we said last time that why did Hashem create the world? Hashem wanted mitzvahs to be done, and therefore he created the world, not the other way around. So the world is chitzonius haratzon. The world is a means to an end. What's the end goal? What Hashem wants, what Hashem desires, his most innermost true desire that doesn't have any strings attached. It's not for what he actually wants and desires. His will is that a yid should do a mitzvah. So wherever there is a pnimius haratzon, panim, right? Pnimius also comes from the word panim and face, right? So, and then there's something called the opposite of pnimius is hester panim. Hester panim means when I conceal my face. Now we're in the month of Adar, like Esther, right? The name Esther was a Persian name, but it comes from this concept of concealment, that Hashem is concealed in the Purim story. So there's Hester Panim, which is a concealed face, and then there's Pnimius, which is Panim, which means that you see Hashem's face. Panim comes from Pnimius. So when it comes to anything that is Hashem's Pnimius Haratzon, that Hashem's innermost desire, over there is zero concealment. Hashem is smiling. There is no contractions. There's no concealment. There's no veil. Excellent. Okay. Excellent question. Excellent question. What you're asking is because let me first establish the fact, and then that question is automatically comes up. Okay. So first we have to establish a fact. The fact is that at this very minute, we're all sitting here and we're learning Torah, which is even a higher unity than a mitzvah. A mitzvah is compared to an organ, to a limb of a king. You're so connected to Hashem, just like your hand is connected to your body. But then there's even a greater unity, because the hand is batal, it's nullified before the body and listens automatically to what the soul wants it to do. And there's even a higher unity, and that is the unity of Torah, where you're not just nullified before Hashem, but you're one with Hashem. That's what happens when we're learning Torah. So when we're learning Torah at this very minute, the truth is that at this minute we are one with Hashem, and there is zero concealment, we're ripping away any kind of mask, any kind of concealment, any kind of tzimtzum, any kind of contractions, anything that would hide Hashem is non-existent at the moment of the study of Torah and at the moment of a mitzvah. So now comes the $1 million question. If that's the case, what do you mean? What do you mean? I'm still we're still in a physical body, in a physical house, around the physical table, and we don't experience that unity. What are you talking? Like, what does that mean? I'm united with Hashem. How? In what does that mean? I don't, and I may not even feel the unity. I feel like I'm sitting at a class. I'm learning beautiful information. Do I feel one with Hashem? I don't even know what you're talking about.
I thought that we would never stop. If we really felt it, then we would never stop.
So that's the $1 million question, and I could answer it right now, or we could read inside and answer it from inside. So what do you prefer?
I want to ask, first of all, I do have like a feeling, it sounds really nuts. I do feel that my brain waves and amygdala over here in the front, I feel it like heating up when we sit and learn together.
So
I feel that there's like there are like waves of energy in the room, like I could feel it a little bit.
That's beautiful. That's so beautiful. But whatever you feel, you should know that the unity that your neshama is experiencing is a gazillion times more than what you're actually feeling at the class.
I also I start crying when I come here. I want to tell you it's really weird. I'm embarrassed to say it, but I really I feel like the room and everything so sincere, so beautiful. And I have a tremendous yearning for Hashem when I'm here.
Wow, that's so beautiful.
I just can't help it. I just start crying because it's so beautiful to be here. And it's just like my neshama is like, oh, this is life. This is it.
So it's incredible. It's incredible that you're able to feel some of the unity and the closeness, but you're touching a drop in the ocean
Of what really
is happening. Could you imagine being one with Hashem? It's not something that we could fathom, and we're gonna see how incredible that is in comparison to the rest of the world. What's being achieved by the unity that's being achieved for a human being when he's learning Torah is cannot compare to anything else. We're gonna see that as well. Okay, so let's.
Another question. Why is it the pneumiest love of Hashem? That sounds hidden. That sounds like his deepest, most innermost thought.
Oh.
In his most innermost thoughts and desires for us to be close to him. Why isn't it an external chitzoniousness of Hashem? Why pneumius of Hashem? Why is it a secret? Why isn't it?
It feels like it's a secret to you.
Yes, because it's internal.
Right.
Panemius, like, oh, my secret wish is
not secret, it's the truth, the real
essence.
The essence. But why? But Hashem also doesn't have. He is all essence. So why is there? What's external then about him?
I think it's a comparison for us to understand. No, like when we have the inner desire, when we have the
deepest inner desire.
So I'll explain it from the Sikha of the Parsha. What we discussed is also we have to realize that everything is relative. Mm-hmm. So when Hashem created the world, Hashem used speech. Speech is more external than what's inside, right? And for human beings, it's separate from us. Once we speak, once you squeeze the toothpaste out of the tube, it's not going back in. Once the feathers come out of the pillow, it's not going back in. So speech is separate from us, right? And Hashem created the matter, meaning cells, atoms, cells and atoms of everything is created from Hashem's speech. So anything that's physical and material is all created from Hashem's speech. And therefore, all the physical material matter feels separate from Hashem, and it feels that it has its own identity. Mm-hmm. Then there's something called form. There's something called matter, and there's something called form. Form is, I could have a lump of clay. Now, what are you going to do with it? What are you going to? There's a million options for this for this matter. Now you're going to form it into something. The form of every single thing is not from Hashem's speech, but it's from Hashem's will. And that Hashem didn't say. He just imagined it. He didn't say it. And therefore, the form of something, and even more than the form of something, but the details of something, that was not articulated by speech. That's just Hashem's will. And that Okay, so now I have to bring in the Sicha. Basically, in the Mishkan, which this week's parsha is Parshas Teruma. In the Mishkan, we see there were three different parts of the Mishkan. There is, number one, there is the walls. The walls is compared to like the matter, like the atoms, like, you need the walls of the Mishkan, otherwise there's no Mishkan, and it surrounds everything, it encloses everything. That is like, the part that Hashem spoke into being. Then there is the vessels. That the Hashem, and that is the word for that is the form. And that is there's different vessels, and each vessel has its own function. And that is Hashem willed it. Hashem willed it. Hashem didn't. So once you get to, there's the matter and then there's the form Hashem willed it. Then the third part of the Mishkan is the roof. It wasn't a regular roof, it was curtains. And there's differences of opinion. Was there 3 curtains? Was there 4 curtains? The topmost curtain was made out of skins of an animal called the tachash. The tachash, so basically was a kosher unicorn. It was a very large animal that its skin was multicolored. The other skins that were used as coverings for the Mishkan had to be dyed. Like there was dyed red, the ram's skin was dyed red. This didn't have to be dyed. It was colorful, and the way it's explained in Targum and in Rashi is that this animal, it is joyous and it takes pride in its colors. That the colors isn't just something external, but rather it becomes the character of the animal. So this represents, what does this represent? This represents the details that are not essential that they're not essential to the life of this creation. For example, if I have 2 apples, right? Or 1 apple, if I have an apple, right? So there's the essence, the actual energy of God that's keeping this apple into existence. That's the matter, the atoms that make this apple into an apple. Then there's the function, the form, which is that anything about the apple. It's sweet, it's red, it's green. What the apple, how the apple serves us. Then there's the details. Does it have a red streak? Does it have a green streak? And no 2 apples look the same. The fact that it has a red streak or a green streak, that is a detail. That seems like insignificant. It doesn't change the essence or the function of the apple if it has this streak or that streak. The color doesn't change it. Okay, there's red delicious and there's sour. There's all different kinds of apples, but the details they're not essential to the apple itself, and seemingly it's insignificant. Who cares if it's this shade or that shade or this this and the other? So it's secondary details, and those secondary details you think irrelevant. Who cares? They're insignificant. What we learn in this week's in the parsha is that when Rashi is describing this tachash, this animal that was multicolored, it specifically uses the word chaya and not behema. So behema is a domestic animal and a chaya is a wild animal. And there's different opinions in Gemara, Talmud Yerushalmi, Talmud Bavli, if this animal was a wild animal or was a domestic animal. In Talmud Bavli, there is no resolution. In Talmud Yerushalmi, there is. Talmud Yerushalmi says that it was a chaya, it was a wild animal. So, and Rashi says chaya. So the Rebbe says, where does Rashi take that it's a chaya from? Why is he siding with the Yerushalmi? Like, why is he taking an opinion here? And the Rebbe explains that it's not about if it's domestic or not domestic. He's using the word chaya to tell you that it's an animal and not a color. He's using the word chaya to say in general because there's four different kingdoms. There's the inanimate kingdom, there's the plant kingdom, there's the animal kingdom. So chaya is animal, and but that's all true. But now going deeper from a Hasidic perspective, who is chaya lamim? Who chai is an animal, but chai is also comes from life. Who is the one that gives life? That's Hashem Himself. And the entire Sikha, the entire point of Rashi, what he's trying to say is that the colors wasn't just something external, but he says that it's a chaya, that the colors are not just external, but rather the animal, the character of the animal is is influenced by the colors. So it's not just colors, but he keeps relating it back to the nature and to the character of the animal, of the chai. So there's a very big link between the colors, the secondary insignificant details, and chai, which is life, essence of life. And the point, and what we learn is that when God gives life to something, He's not just giving life to the big stuff. He's not just giving life, so that it should exist. And He's not just giving life that it should function. The details which were not said, which are willed, those details which seem insignificant, do you know why they seem insignificant? Because they are actually batal to Hashem. They don't feel their own self. They're closer to Hashem. It's Hashem's will, not His speech. And because they're insignificant, because they nullify themselves before Hashem, therefore in this world they seem insignificant. But really, they're much greater and higher than the highest that comes from just existing. Okay, I know it's a very deep, I know it's a very, very deep topic, but basically what we're saying is that everything in this world exists because everything has a spark of God that keeps it in existence. And we all have our function. But a lot of us, our function is the same. Like there are many, many of us that are mothers, many, many of us that are daughters, wives, sisters, and whatever job or career we have. There's many people that are accountants. There are many people that are doctors. There's many people that share the same function. But what makes you unique and different than any other person, those are the secondary details. It could be from your eye color to your to your favorite color, to the things that make you tick, to the things that you enjoy, to your the things that are most seemingly most insignificant. That's where your uniqueness is. And all that stuff, don't think and say, oh, it's just insignificant. Who cares what color I like? Who cares what my preference is? Who cares what my talent is? We have to realize that in that's where lies the greatest amount of chayis. God's because over there, the energy is not just from God's speech, which is more separate from Him, but rather it's from God's will that He didn't even say, He just thought about or just willed it.
I wouldn't say more separate, more external.
Okay.
There's nothing separate.
There's nothing separate from Hashem, for sure. There's nothing separate from Hashem. So speech is, what happens with speech is that speech is where we see this concept of tzimtzum, of a chain-like descent. Because Hashem is so infinite, how are we going to have a world? So the concept of tzimtzum, of going from infinity to a finite world, that is the same pattern kind of as dibur. Dibur is where I could create what to Hashem, there's nothing separate from Hashem, but to us it seems like we're separate. So, but the external is a much better word, 100%. Okay, so what was your original question? Let's go back to the original question.
It's Hashem's innermost desire. So if it's why is it innermost desire? Why is it a secret desire? Like it seems like.
So right. So basically what we're saying is that the more your will, what you want is more internal than your speech, right? Because my speech, if I really want something, there's a bunch of different ways how I could articulate and how I could say it. And sometimes I could want something, I could speak, but as much as I speak about it, you still won't get how deeply I care, or deeply I want
Put
something.
it in deeply, if it's the most important thing for him, for us to do, that we kind of have to guess, not that we have to guess, because we know, but why wouldn't he make it more external? Why does it have to be deep and hidden?
Because the deeper it is, the closer it is to God. Just like your will is closer to you than your speech. Go ahead.
The way that you like think about like the people who are closest to you, you would describe as like also you love them the deepest, right? So it's like that's what makes it the closest to you inside. It's not right like somebody who, you know, you have a friend or something that's just yeah, you could love them, you know, that's
Right.
fine. But like the people who you know the best and who you hold the closest to you, you call it that you have the deepest love for them.
I hear.
It doesn't mean inside, deep down inside, it's hidden. It means that's what you would call
It could be very obvious.
right.
Okay, it's just called hidden, like,
No, it's
Not
not
hidden,
hidden.
it's
not
closer,
deep,
the deepest.
Okay.
Strongest.
Yeah. But basically we're getting a new mindset. And the mindset is that things that seem low and insignificant and who cares, and it's just a detail, the truth is that that is where the deepest relationship with Hashem lies. It's opposite of what you would think.
like in the regular everyday mitzvos, we think like whatever.
So the same, and the Sikha discusses the same thing with mitzvahs. Within a mitzvah, there's three parts. There's the actual mitzvah, lighting Shabbos candles, putting on tefillin, and the actual mitzvah were all the same. You could have Moshe Rabbeinu putting on tefillin, and your husband putting on tefillin, and Moshe Rabbeinu doesn't get any more brownie points for putting on tefillin than your husband because the action is the action, and that is the most essential part of the mitzvah to just get the action done. Then there's a higher level, and that is the intention, the kavana. Kavana is also important because if you kavana is compared to the wings of a bird to make it fly up. It says a mitzvah without kavana is like a body without a soul. So you need a mitzvah. Then there's something beyond that, and that is a minhag, a custom, right? And a custom, you would think the custom is not if I don't do the custom, the mitzvah is still the mitzvah. But the Rebbe explains that the custom, the details of the custom, you would think, it's okay, it's not so important. But the custom, the little details, that's where your love for Hashem is most expressed. Your loyalty to Hashem is most expressed in the details. Let's take a relationship, right? The fact that you cook and that your husband brings home the paycheck, that is a given, or whatever, however it works in your relationship. You know, sometimes the husband likes to cook and the woman is the career person, whatever it is. However it's set up in your relationship, there's the given, there's what's expected. The husband is expected to take the garbage out, hopefully, right? And yeah, the relationship is great. But where do you see the depth of the relationship? In the details, in the extras. That you remembered that you know that my favorite color is pink or hot pink in my case, right? And that the flowers that you bought or the siddur that you bought or the chitas that you bought, that even though you bought you thought it was more sophisticated for your 45-year-old wife to buy something a little bit more not so in your face, but that when your wife said that she really likes hot pink, and you went and you exchanged it and you got the hot pink, so in the hot pink, it's a detail, right? But in the hot pink, that's where you express your truest love, your deepest, your deepest love. And you say, this really means a lot to her, although it's insignificant. My kid's like, Ma, like, what's your problem? Like, just say thank you. Like, no wonder why, Tati can't buy you gifts because you're always complaining about whatever you get. Like, just be happy, But it's in the details, my husband was driving he doesn't he doesn't he's very self-sufficient. He's very self-sufficient. He doesn't like anyone to do anything for him. And it was just one morning, and I just made him lunch because he drives the kids to school. So he goes to Uber Eats and this, that, other, and he orders stuff to his office, and he's very self-sufficient. And it was this week, last year, I made lunch as whatever it was, and the end is, it's very funny because the end is that my daughter, the 4-year-old, forgot her backpack at home. So the lunch he ended up giving it to my daughter, or at least most of it. But so it was good that I had made it for him because otherwise my daughter wouldn't have had what to eat. But anyway, it's he wasn't expecting it. He wasn't expecting it. But that's where you're able to say, you know what? I went the extra mile. I really care about you, whatever it is. Like, the special touch, the details, that's where the love is expressed most. Not on the fact that he took out the garbage that he did for the past 25 years. That's where it lies. So what we're learning is that, and the same thing is in Tanya, specifically in this low world. Human beings in this low world are able to achieve something that angels in the highest world can't achieve. What seems low and insignificant and far away, that's where the depth is.
How you wanna know, I think love is,
Yes, tell us.
the fact that you shared with your husband that to you hot pink matters, that's real love. That you're able to be so vulnerable and let him know. And it's the same thing when Hashem lets us know
Wow,
that Torah and mitzvahs are his will and his deepest desire.
wow.
He's trusting us with his will. That's love. That's real love.
Wow.
That's beautiful.
That is so beautiful. Now you're turning it the other way. Yeah. So that's exactly what we're saying. That's exactly what we're saying. So if Hashem loves hot pink, then and we know that that's a blessing. And when we're fulfilling His will, we're really becoming, we're uniting with Him. That the relationship is so special. That's a really, really beautiful thing that you just said. That's really, really cool. Okay, so let's learn a little bit inside. Okay. Here we are. Okay, so on page 262. So last class we started chapter 23, and we were mainly focusing on the advantage of mitzvahs. Today we're concentrating more on the Torah. Like we said at one point that the mitzvahs are higher, and now we're saying the Torah is higher.
So you know what? That is true. That is true. That again, it's all relative. And yes, there are chapters of Tanya we're going to see that the main thing is the action, and there are chapters of Tanya we're going to see that it's all true. It's all true. It's true that action is the most important thing, especially in this physical world, and that it can't be achieved anywhere else but here. But still, it's still true that the greatest unity that we could achieve.
We said last in the beginning, what did we say? That mitzvahs are like a hug, and Torah is.
Torah is a hug.
And what's mitzvah?
Torah is food. Mitzvahs are clothing. Mitzvahs are garments. Okay, that's if we go to the earlier parts of Tanya. But the thing with Torah is that just like when you eat food, it becomes part of you. You can't separate it.
So the same
No,
thing.
but we said once, I'm trying to remember then what the terminology is. We said something that the mitzvahs bring you closer to Hashem. Like that the mitzvahs were a higher.
Right, but so I'm hugging Hashem. I'm hugging Hashem, and it doesn't matter how many clothes Hashem is wearing. I'm still hugging him. Yes, a mitzvah is a hug.
And what's Torah? When we said mitzvahs, what did we say Torah?
Torah is food.
No, when we said that it's a hug, what did we use? We said we compared the two. What did I'm just not remembering what we said at Torah.
I think we said that Torah is food.
I thought
And-
Torah was like water.
Torah is also like water, but it depends. It depends in what area.
Oh, hold on.
What did we say? Okay.
A close person, like that you're giving a hug to, versus an actual limb of the person. I think that was the most we used.
Okay. So here she's asking from a previous parak of Tanya. We have to look it up and see. But basically in Olam Haba, every mitzvah that we do is compared to a garment, is compared to clothing. And after 120, when a person goes to Gan Eden, the clothing gives them protection so that they're able to tolerate the incredible holiness and appreciate the incredible holiness that exists in Olam Haba. So a person needs food and a person needs clothing. Clothing is the mitzvah that gives us protection, so we're able to tolerate the incredible infinite light. And Torah is food. Torah is knowledge. Once you know 2 + 2 = 4, you can't unknow it. Once you know something, that's it. It becomes one with you. It becomes one with you. Just like food, once you ingest it, it becomes part of you, it becomes part of your blood and part of your body, and you can't separate it. You know, like if a kid eats last piece of chocolate cake and another kid is angry, like, what do you want me to do? I can't get it back. It's done. You know, I can't take it out of my stomach and put it back together. Once I ate it, that's it. It's finished. It's part of me. There's nothing I could do about it. Okay. So okay, so basically what we're going to talk today about the advantage of Torah over mitzvahs, and the unity that could be achieved with Torah is higher than the unity that we could achieve with mitzvahs, because a mitzvah is I am performing God's will, and Torah is the actual will.
I kind of think of a relationship between people. You do something nice for them, that's the mitzvah. Or you get to know them, you get to know what they love, and you get to know what they want. Like your husband got to know that you love hot pink over whatever.
So doing something, see, and this is what the person who sent me that text this morning said. Like her whole life, she's just doing mitzvahs because Hashem wants me to do mitzvahs. But then all of a sudden, when you realize this is not just doing mitzvahs because I'm a servant and I have to do mitzvahs because this is what Hashem wants from me, when I understand that this is how I unite with Hashem because this is His innermost will, this is His hot pink. Then it's I'm not doing it because I feel forced, but I'm doing it because wow, I have an opportunity to unite with Hashem in the most incredible way, which we're going to learn right now. Okay. So with Hashem, for us, it's me and what I know and my power to know. It's 3 different things. With Hashem and His wisdom are one. It's not separate things. It's all one. Shehu hayedea v'hu hamada chulu. That Hashem is all 3. He is simultaneously the knower, the power to know, and the knowledge. This is what it says, that Hashem and Torah are one. V'loi eivarin de malka lechud kifi kudin. Totally one means
that Torah is not just organs of the king, like mitzvahs are organs, which is a separate entity, which is devoted to God like a chariot. So the difference between Torah and mitzvahs is Torah is one with Hashem, and a mitzvah is compared to an organ of Hashem, to a limb. ומאחר שרצון העליון, המיוחד באין סוף ברוך הוא בתכלס הייחוד, הוא בגילוי לגמרי ולא בהסתר פנים כלל וכלל בנפש הלקיס. Now, since the divine will, remember we said it's the pnimis haratzin, it's what Hashem really wants, not for any other motive. This is what Hashem's true will. Now, since the divine will that is merged in total union with the blessed infinite one, is fully disclosed in the divine soul without any hiding of God's face at all. So basically, the Torah is Hashem's will itself. It's not you fulfilling the will, it's the will itself. And Hashem and his will are one. Hashem, because the will is the Torah. Hashem and Torah are one. And the fact that in the Torah it says that if Reuven's ox gores Shimon's ox, this is Hashem's will. The Torah is Hashem's will. And Hashem and his will and his wisdom are all one. And this and his Hashem's will is fully revealed in your soul without any hiding of the face. When is it? And not just in the soul, but also also your power to think and your power to speak, which are both needed for learning Torah, your soul and your thought and your speech. When you're learning Torah, what happens? Your soul and its garments of thoughts and speech are totally one with Hashem at the moment of Torah learning. Just like Hashem's will, just like Hashem's speech and thought are one with his essence, like we said before. We said when we were talking about speech and thought, so for us, when we speak, it's separate from us. But Hashem, we said that Hashem's words are not separate from him, and we could understand that from our life because we have words that before they're spoken, there's words inside of our thought. So the words that are in my thought, they didn't come out yet, are one with me. So just like my words are one with me in my thought process, and they're not separate from me, the same way Hashem's speech and thought are not separate from him, but they're inside of him. And just like Hashem and his speech and his thought are one with him and not separate, in the same way, when we use our speech and our thought to learn Torah, we are one with Hashem, just like Hashem's speech and thought is one with him. This is what happens when we're learning Torah. Because there's nothing blocking, there's nothing separating us from Hashem. There's nothing that's hiding, there's nothing that's masking, there's nothing that's hiding Hashem's face. Like we said before when we're learning Torah. Okay, Sarla, your questions is going to be answered very soon.
It says unless there's ki'im behester panim, unless there's hester panim.
Ki ein shum davar nifrad, there's nothing that's separate from Hashem. Ki im behester panim, only if there is hester panim, but here there is no hester panim. Basically, when you're learning Torah, there's no veils, there's no concealment, there's no nothing. It's just you and Hashem, one in the most perfect unity. V'loy oid ela sheyichudam hu beyeser seis v'yeser ois miyichud ar ein tzayv baruch hu ba'elos m'elos yanim. Here's the bomb. Here's the bomb. This unity that you get when you learn Torah, that your soul and your speech and thought are one with Hashem, is with more power, is with more dignity and more power than the merging of the blessed infinite light with even the uppermost spiritual and transparent worlds. The unity that a Jew achieves when he learns Torah far surpasses the unity that Hashem has with the most highest spiritual worlds.
Why is this? Because when the divine soul and its garments are immersed in Torah, the divine will is fully revealed in them. Since the Torah itself is the divine will, and that is what is absorbed in the person's mind. When you're learning what's in your mind, it's the actual Torah, it's the actual will of Hashem. And therefore your soul and your speech and your thought are one with the actual will of Hashem.
There's no Hester in the upper worlds either. They're also completely one.
There's less Hester.
Okay, so okay, let's continue, and then we're going to answer we're going to let the Tanya answer for itself. Whereas the upper worlds only receive their life energy from the light and life energy that is drawn out from the Torah. I'm going to explain in a minute. Since Torah, which is his will and Chachma, was the energy through which the world was created, as the verse states, you made them all with Chachma. So it follows that Hashem's Chachma, which is the Torah, is higher than the worlds since it caused them. Okay, so something's out here. Let me explain. How did Hashem create this world and all the worlds? The Torah was the blueprint. Hashem looked into the Torah and Hashem created the worlds. Torah is higher than all the worlds, and the source of life of all the worlds comes from Torah. Torah is the source of life for all the worlds. So imagine Torah, it's above the worlds. It was used to create the worlds, and now there's a ray of light from Torah that's coming to give light, to give light to the worlds to keep them in existence. So it's not the Torah itself, it's a light that comes from Torah that gives the worlds their existence. And what is this light called? Vihihi Ritzeni Yisbarach. This is God's will. Hanikra, which is called Seiviv Kol Olmin, which is called Seiviv Kol Olmin by the Zayar. What is Seiviv Kol Olmin? Seiviv Kol, with regards to energy that worlds and people and everything needs to exist, there are two different types. There's something called Mimale Kol Olmin, which means fills all the worlds. And then there's something called Seiviv Kol Olmin, which encompasses the worlds. What does this mean? Right now, in front of you, you see a cup of orange juice. This cup could only hold a certain amount of orange juice. If I want to put more orange juice in, I need to get a bigger cup. The more orange juice I want to put in, the bigger cup I have to get, the bigger cup I need, right? But that's orange juice fitting into a cup. They're both physical things. And orange juice could go inside of a cup. And it could only go, and the orange juice could only be filled as much as the container could contain. That is Mamalik Kolomin. That is that every single thing that exists has a light that could a life force that is perfectly tailor-made to every single thing to give it the right amount of chayis that it should be able to exist. But what if I tell you, I have a brilliant idea and I want you to take the brilliant idea and to put it into a cup? Ideas don't go inside cups because idea is not something tangible. The biggest cup in the world, I can't fit an idea into a cup. It's not happening because an idea is way beyond a cup. So the Seiviv Kol Olmin is a kind of light that could only encompass the world kind of from the outside, not inside, because it's so high that it can't come into a cup. So Torah, which is God's will, is called Seiviv Kol Olmin.
It has Mamalik Olmin for them.
Mamalik Kol Olmin is what. So
Nothing
take
spiritual.
so take the word so it's true. We're not talking about physical time and space. You are right about that, but there's the energy that that is tailor made to fit that is tailor made for the object, and then there's an energy that is beyond that.
Mammal element is like the symptom, like it's the energy that is already contracted.
Right. And so for example, the world of Atzilus, the highest world, has a light of Hashem that fills Atzilus. That's the Mamalekul Omen light that fills Atzilus, and that the Mamalekul Omen light in Atzilus is obviously higher or more intense than the light of the Mamalekul Omen in this world of Asiya, right? So the world of Atzilus exists because of the tailor-made light, the Mamalekul Omen that fills Atzilus to keep it in existence. But then there's the Sovev Kol Omen, the light that even in Atzilus, it can't go into Atzilus because it's too high. Imagine Atzilus is the cup; it could only hold this much. So there's Sovev Kol Omen that encompasses it encompasses even Atzilus. It can't penetrate inside because it's too high.
Does it accomplish anything?
Yes, a Sovev Kol Omen accomplishes a ton. But it's not it's not in a way that's internal, but rather it affects from the outside, not from the inside. And Torah, the Ratzon of Hashem is called Sovev Kol Omen. So an impossible thing is happening. A light that cannot penetrate the world, and it can't even penetrate Atzilus because it's Sovev. Sovev means surrounds. It can never go in. A miraculous thing happens that when a Jew learns Torah, this Sovev Kol Omen that can't even go into Atzilus, this light of Sovev Kol Omen, where is it? It's revealed inside of your soul, and in your thought, and in your speech when you're learning Torah, which is an impossible thing. It's an oxymoron. You're taking Sovev, an encompassing light, which can't go into anything, and it's uniting and becoming one with your neshama. It's impossible. The unity that a person achieves when he learns Torah is greater than the unity that Hashem has with the world of Atzilus, with the highest worlds, with the highest spiritual worlds. There's no other place or time or thing or anything that could accomplish a unity, what learning Torah could accomplish. It's an incredible thing. Now, okay, we have to get to our last question. The Sovev Kol Omen light refers to the type of divine light and energy which is unable to become enmeshed with the worlds due to its light's intensity. It could only provides energy and light to the worlds indirectly and distantly from above, in a disengaged fashion. We're up to 266. Yet this incompatible Sovev Kol Omen light is precisely what does become absorbed by and fully revealed in the divine soul in its garments of thought and speech at the time of Torah study. Do you hear what's going on? It's crazy.
And how could it be? Because it doesn't fit in this world. So
right. It can't be. It can't be. And yes, it is, because Hashem is infinite. So therefore, what can't be happens. It's impossible. A light that can't even that can't penetrate or be enclosed in Atzilus is revealed inside your soul, inside every single one of us, inside our souls at this current moment when we're sitting here and learning. Now we have an answer to the question. And even though they did not see the vision, and this is a quote from Talmud, it's talking about Daniel and Azariah, Mishael. There were four of them. I'm missing one, but basically, Hanan, thank you. Basically, there was a vision. And they were all trembling, and they didn't even. They were trembling, not because they saw it, but because their soul saw it. So so even though we do not experience, okay, so some of us could experience a tiny little bit, but most of us, for sure, we can't experience. We don't experience this Sovev Kol Omen light inside of our souls when we're learning, right? So even though they did not see it, even though you don't experience or feel this unity, umishum, it's still true. And this is the answer. Umishum hache yachal lizba mishum de la chazeh. It's precisely because you don't see it and you don't feel it that you're able to withstand it. If we were able to feel the unity that we're achieving at this current moment, our souls would just disintegrate. We would just disappear. But not there. We wouldn't be able to handle it. And so specifically, only because we don't feel it and we don't see it, that's why we're able to handle it.
So the Mamalika Omen is Hester Panim, so to speak, and the Sovivka Omen is the Panim of Hashem is.
So it's hard for me to say that Mamalika Omen is Hester Panim, because Hester Panim means Hashem is hiding his face, and I can't say about a light of Hashem that it's Hashem's hiding his face. What I could say is that
If it's the symptom, then it is hidden.
It's still Hashem's light. It's still Hashem's light. Hester Panim I use for things that are opposite of holiness.
It's not opposite, it's just hidden.
Hester Panim is when there's orange juice. That is a concealment. What I need to do.
It's Hashem's will, Hashem's doing Hashem's thing, but it's hidden over. You don't see it, but it's there. It's still Hashem's.
Okay, so what happens is when I make a bracha on the orange juice, what I'm doing is I am ripping off the mask, and I'm showing that the orange juice is divine. I'm revealing the godliness inside the orange juice. So if anything that's anything that's chitzaynes haratzain, anything that's a means to an end, there is a hester panim means that there is a blockage or a concealment or a veil that I need to rip off and reveal that this is truly godliness. But so Mamalika Omen and Seilka Omen are two types of light.
So
I can't say about the Primus Ratzon is the Torah mitzvahs.
I mean, but they're both part of
they're both light that's giving energy. So I can't say about light that it's Hester Panim, but I could say there's different types of light or different levels of light, or that this light could penetrate, this light can penetrate, and they're both necessary. They're both necessary. So Hester Panim means where God is concealed. So if you want to say, one light relative to another light, this light is more. But I don't like to use the word concealed when we're talking about a light, because light is revelation.
Contract.
It's a light it's a light that is more contracted. Yes. It's a light that's more contracted that is able to fit into every single thing tailor-made. But the word Hester Panim I would save for things that are chitzaynes haratzeh, not for light. Okay. And it's precisely because you don't see it that you're able to withstand it. Which is not the case in the upper worlds. In the upper worlds, they do experience and appreciate. So basically, the Alter Rebbe explains.
It's still a higher level here, even though there they appreciate.
Yes,
it's still a higher level.
Yes. So if you were to take an angel from the world of Atzilus and to bring him to this table right now, the angel would completely disintegrate. It wouldn't be able to withstand the holiness, the unity that's in this room right now, because it would just melt, because it can't handle. It can't handle it once it sees the unity, but only because we're so coarse that we don't feel it and that we don't get it, that's how we're able to withstand it. And we don't experience. But when Mashiach comes, all of a sudden, all the veils are going to be removed, and we're going to see and feel everything that we accomplished. Right. So imagine a person is born blind, and they have in front of them a huge canvas with tons of buckets of paint and paintbrushes. A person who's blind is able to take, with his eyes closed, is able to take a paintbrush, dip it into paint, and draw on the canvas any color that he wants, right? But he has no idea what he's doing. He doesn't know what it looks like. He never saw color before, nothing. And then imagine the day that there's a surgery or Mashiach, whatever it is, and all of a sudden he's able to see. Wow. Look at the canvas. Look at all the stunning colors. As much as you try to describe it to him,
You can't get it. So that's what Mashiach, that's Mashiach. B'chal, that's Chassidus. Chassidus is the colors. Torah is black and white. Chassidus brings color, a black and white photo and a colored photo. You can't compare. It brings color. I'm getting off topic.
Is that Hashem trusts us. Rabbi Amina said, we say it in the morning, that he really trusts us with this knowledge, that we're going to use it. You know, imagine somebody tells you what their will and desire are, my hot pink sitter, and then your husband says, like, who cares? But that he trusts us to do the right thing with it and to value.
And the vulnerability, as you said, the vulnerability to say, this is what I really want. This is what I really want. And then it's a whole different ballgame. I'm not learning Torah and doing mitzvahs because I feel forced. And what's going to happen if I don't? But what a privilege. What a privilege to know what Hashem's deepest desire is and to fulfill it and to become one with him and unite with him. Wow. Wow. Okay.
How did we figure this out? The Tanya figured, how do we know that?
Everything is sourced. It's all sourced in Kabbalah.
Well, we know from the Baal Tanya. But
Yes,
again,
how did he figure it?
he was on a different
How
level
did
than
they
us.
figure out the innermost desire of HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Like,
By learning Torah.
Because Hashem told it to us.
This is all the Tanya. Everything is sourced in Tanya, and he says Tanya is Lekutei Emarim. It's a compilation. He was so humble. He didn't say this is my ideas. Everything is sourced, and he says it's a compilation of sources. It's
throughout history,
yeah.
which led to this.
But it's the Zayar. It's tons of Zayar and tons of Kabbalah that he's teaching that he made accessible to us.
Amazing. Did the Arizal, he was before, the Ari was after this?
Way before. Kabbalah is the Tanya is a few hundred years old.
And the Ari, like Kabbalah was from when was Kabbalah being learned always?
Kabbalah was being learned always, but only to a very select few. And then they said, "Oh, only if once you're 40." And then, but now Kabbalah, what the Tanya does is it takes all the stuff that was basically what happened was the Jewish people, with the false Mashiach and the Kazakhs and the pogroms and all that, the Jewish people are compared to a prince who's dying. And the only medicine, the only thing to do to try to save the prince's life is to take the crown, the center jewel of the crown, of the king's crown, and to crush it and to mix it with water and to make some medicine out of it, and maybe if a few drops of this syrup made from the crown jewel of the king's crown, maybe that will save the king's life. And that's what Chassidus is. The Jewish people are in such a low state that the secrets, that Hashem's most treasured secrets of the Kabbalah, the Zayar, the most hidden secrets, Hashem had to crush and give to us to give us the power to withstand this dark last few seconds of Gullus. Okay. I'm almost done. Now we can understand why many sources say that Torah is more virtuous than all other mitzvahs. And Torah even surpasses tefillah, whose spiritual influence is great, as stressed in the Kabbalah, that prayer causes the upper worlds to merge with the higher layers of emanation. As wonderful as tefillah is, Torah even surpasses it. The fact that we say that someone who's learning Torah has to stop and take a break and daven, it's not because davening is more important than Torah, but it's because a person can't learn 24/7. They have to take a break. So in your break, you should daven. Okay. Now,
why don't we daven if we're learning? Why don't people who learn not stop for a break to daven if they're going to continue learning all day? They do.
They do.
No, why don't they not? Why do they daven if they just could learn Torah all day? Why do you have to?
Because it's impossible. It's impossible to daven 24/7. I'm sorry, to learn 24/7. You have to take a break to eat anyway. Like you can't. So if once I'm already taking a break, then accomplish what davening could accomplish.
Okay, the rest of the rest of this parak is going. I'll just basically say what it is outside, and then if we have time, we could. Basically, what it's saying is like this: when you think about this, what you're accomplishing by learning Torah, you're going to become in a state of awe, right? So, and there's two.
What's the thing with woman learning though? It's just not our fear, but we can, like, what is it?
Does learning for us come before davening, like for men?
So I think the only difference between men and women with regards to davening, I'm sorry, to learning, is that men have an obligation to learn whenever they
Yom
have free
Rabbah.
time, and women don't have that obligation. But all the positive mitzvahs, we have to learn about them to know how to do it. You have to know kashrus, you have to know hilchas Shabbos, you have to know the halachas of taras mishpacha. There's so much that you have to know just to be able to keep the mitzvahs. So this. The reason
I think my husband this morning, I
oh.
didn't daven this morning because I was gonna help my mother. I told my husband, I said, does like learning come before helping? And he's like, you should help your mother. He's like, well, maybe instead of this year, you should go daven. He said, you have a fear too. You don't have a fear of learning Torah. So I just
So the answer is as follows: we have an obligation to love Hashem and to fear Hashem.
I think this is teaching.
How am I going to know to love Hashem if I don't learn Chassidus?
Well, not every, people fear Hashem without it. I mean, look at Rakan Kanievsky, right? Or like any Litvisher, they had fear of Hashem and love of Hashem.
What makes you think that those people don't learn Kabbalah?
Chassidus, you know?
I think they do.
Chassidus? Yeah?
Chassidus today is everywhere.
Universal?
Chassidus is everywhere. Whether people will admit that's Chassidus or it's not, they won't admit that Chassidus, that's irrelevant. But basically, you can't truly have a true love and fear of Hashem without.
But Chassidus is only so long. What did they have before that?
So it's a good question. It's a good question. But basically,
the Baal Shem Tov, how did they love them feared Hashem, right?
It's more natural.
yeah.
They were on a higher
The time of the Beis Hamikdash, they all loved and feared Hashem. The time of the Beis Hamikdash was very real, you know.
It was a real deal.
Yeah. So the darker the galus, the more chassidus we need. So basically contemplating upon this would give you an awe. When it comes to awe of Hashem, there's two levels. There's awe of Hashem. You need awe before you do a mitzvah. Then you do a mitzvah and learn Torah and connect to Hashem and have the unity. And then there's even another level of awe that comes after. So there's awe before Torah mitzvahs, and then there's a higher level of awe that comes after Torah mitzvahs. So once we learn Torah and do mitzvahs, we should all be on the level and have the higher level of fear. But the Alter Rebbe says that not all of us, that's not our fault. Maybe our soul came from a lower world, a lower sphere. It's not our fault. Not all of us are able to attain this higher level of awe. But you should know that even if you don't attain it, still, it's all true that when you learn Torah, you're one with Hashem. That's what the end of the parak says. I could read it very quickly if you want. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. If you are wise, you can make use of this idea to become inspired with a great sense of reverence as you study Torah. When you contemplate when you contemplate how your soul and its garments, which express themselves in your brain and in your mouth, that they're literally merged in total oneness with the divine will. And with the blessed infinite light, literally, which is revealed in your soul and its garments. So if you think about it, you're like, oh my gosh, this is unbelievable. Like I'm so inspired and so awe-inspired by this. And you contemplate how all the worlds, upper and lower worlds, that are considered zero in his presence and are literally null and void, to the extent that the divine will does not become substantially enmeshed in them, but is merely save kol in a disengaged fashion, to give them their main life energy. And only a glimmer of that light actually becomes enmeshed in those worlds. All the worlds, Atzilus, Bria, Tzir, Asiya, they're only getting a glimmer of the light of Seif Kol Amin, only as much as they could withstand without their existence becoming completely obliterated. So basically, over here, we're basically summarizing everything that we just said. So when you think about all this, there's a passage that says Hashem commanded us to perform all these laws in order to revere God. Hashem gave us mitzvahs in order to have fear. But we know that we need fear before we do a mitzvah. Otherwise, I need the fear first. And it says about this higher level of fear that comes after we keep Torah mitzvahs. It says that if im ein chachma ein yira, if there's no chachma, if there's no Torah, then there's no fear, because we're talking about a higher level of fear that comes after that you learn Torah. V'atera nikris etza tara lidarta. And compared to the higher level of fear or awe, the Torah is called a mere gateway to the dwelling, because you have fear or awe, then you have Torah, and then you have a higher level of awe. So the Torah is just a gateway compared to the higher level of awe that you would achieve after learning Torah. However, since this yira, this awe that we could achieve, since it requires focused meditation, and not every mind can hold it. But even if your mind cannot hold this higher reverence, neither a part of it nor a fraction of it, it's not your fault. It's not our fault. It's probably due to the poor standing of your soul's root and source. Because somewhere in the lower, how do you pronounce that word?
I don't know.
Okay. Echelon.
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 Yeah.
Yeah.
Echelons of the 10 spheres of the lowest of the worlds, of the world of Asiya, because some of us, our neshamas come from the lower spheres of the lowest world, so it's not our fault. We don't have that capacity. So even if I'm not able to achieve this awesome awe that comes after learning Torah, and I'm not able to chap the awesomeness of what's happening when I'm learning Torah, it's okay. The failure to reach this higher reverence does not in any way invalidate your Torah observance, as will be explained below. So even if you don't feel it, you still accomplished the incredible unity, and it doesn't take away from your mitzvahs, it doesn't take away from the Torah, it doesn't take away from the unity, whether you feel it or not. And because you don't feel it, that's why you're able to withstand it. Okay. Yeah. So Sprinza. Oh wait, I don't know where she went. Bring mommy the phone for 1 minute, okay? You're such a good girl. Didn't even know you were here because you were so quiet. I just want to read to you. Thank you, Baba. I just want to read to you the text that I got this morning. Okay. Dear Chani, your class last night really moved me more than you can ever imagine. I don't know if you can fully understand the impact it made on me. Forever now, I chose to do, maybe forever until now, I chose to do mitzvahs only because I knew that it meant a lot to Hashem. But I didn't really care, and it honestly felt like a big burden at times. There were so many times I would blurt out, Hashem, I'm doing this only for you because you care so much. I never understood what Torah and mitzvahs really were, and they didn't feel meaningful to me. There were so many days that I woke up and asked myself, what's the point of living another day? What's the point of getting into the cycle of routine and then just to rinse and repeat the next day? Many days felt meaningless to me, and I didn't realize what a great opportunity I have just to be alive and to learn Torah or do a mitzvah. I've heard 1,000,000 times, better to do one mitzvah on this earth than the entire Olam Haba, but it never clicked for me until now. It's the next day now, and I woke up with so much empowerment and motivation. Rather than thinking, is it really worth it? I'm thinking, wow, Hashem gifted me with another day. And even if all I do today is perform one mitzvah, it was completely worthwhile. I'm so excited, and I feel like I got a glimpse of my hidden love for Hashem. Right? You want to cry, right? Rather than judging myself for all the negatives in me and where I fail, I now feel that these failures are secondary and unimportant in the big scheme of things. I want to focus on what truly matters. Thank you again for being Hashem's shliach and the Rebbe's shliach to spread the light of Chassidus. It sounds cliche, but it's really the truth.
Okay, thank you for stepping out late at night when really you could have used some well-needed rest. Misham Benshu. Okay, she gives a beautiful bracha. Mary merits to greet Mashiach soon.
Awesome.
So I'm crying also, but so I'm happy, I'm thrilled, I'm privileged, I'm honored to be able to leave to take a short break on such a high note. And Mirz Hashem will resume classes. I don't know when exactly, but keep learning. Yeah. Yeah, the doctors are
When you expired already.
yeah,
You're done.
they're not. No, the doctor doesn't want. The doctor doesn't want. Okay, we're good. Yeah,
But that's okay.
yeah,
You need to do what's best for you. You need to be healthy and to be well.
yeah. But I'm so happy that I had the opportunity to be able to finish this chapter and to be able to leave on to take a. But don't take a break. Don't take a break. This is the motivation. There, I when I come here, I listen to Rabbi Naftali Silverberg to come here. You know,
He has longer, I get his minute, like his very short.
yes, yes. Rabbi Naftali Silverberg.
Is he on like Torah anytime?
You could just find him on Google.
Actually, I'm thinking I once looked into, but it was like from 30 years, not 30 years ago. He looks totally different. He
Yes,
looks like a young
yes,
guy. Is that on
yes,
LinkedIn?
yes. Hi, Chami. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Chani. B'shat
So
tova
welcome, so
mutzlachat.
welcome.
Rabbi Silverberg gives a shir every Tuesday night,
Yeah, daily.
and it's posted. Besides his daily, every Tuesday he gives a shir in Crown Heights, and I
Wow.
listen to him. He doesn't always follow Project Lakutei Sicha. Usually he does, but he's amazing. Yeah.
Okay, amazing.
He's not Chani Garari, but you know, he's
Okay, but basically, there are tons of shiurim out there. Don't take a break because now you know what Torah is. Find one person, two people, three people, rabbis, women, teachers. Learn, because we're becoming one with Hashem. So
after your break, then what are we gonna do?
We're gonna continue.
Back to 24.
yeah, absolutely, yeah,
So even if we get ahead, then
yeah. There's no shortage of what to learn. Oh, you're so sweet. Okay, I'll be back before you know it. I can't stay away either. That's no problem. Okay. Thank you, Chami, for joining us. Okay.